Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We welcome you to the Emergency Management Show tonight. Folks, we're going to do an update from the earthquake that hit yesterday morning in the Philippines. I'm going to revive the information to you so you remember what we talked about. Folks, there was an earthquake. There was a very, very dangerous earthquake. Okay? If you remember, we showed you what USGS depicted as a 7.6 magnitude earthquake. This earthquake was actually supposed to have come out as a 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Now, I showed you information last night or yesterday afternoon from Barbados. This is what that earthquake looked like as recorded from Barbados, which is just north of Venezuela in the Caribbean island of Barbados. This is what it looked like. It was nearly blacked out. Nearly, not quite, but nearly blacked out. Folks, I've got new information. I spent last night and this morning poring over more information. I want to show you now what it looks like today. This is what the helioplots look like from today. This is the helioplot coming from the Disney Florida location. Okay, look at it. Look at it. Again, this is nearly blacked out. But look at the horizontal lines beneath this earthquake. Over 21 hours of body wave. 21 hours of body wave, and it's still, as of 11 p.m. this morning, still moving. And I'm talking about 11 p.m. Eastern Time this morning. That is incredible numbers. Those are actual incredible numbers. 21 hours later, there's still body wave moving. Let me show you another one. Okay? I want to show you another one. I'm going to show you three different helioplots here. This one is from Oak Ridge, Massachusetts. There is an observatory in Oak Ridge, Massachusetts, where this helioplot comes from. Again, look at the massive, enormous body wave movement. The body wave is the wave coming after the primary and the secondary wave. 21 hours of movement. 21 hours of movement. Let me show you another one. This comes from Spitsbergen, Norway. Spitsbergen, Norway, or as we call it in Swedish or Norwegian, Spitsbergen, Norway. Bergen is mountain. Spitz Mountain in Norway. Look at this. The same thing applies here. 21 hours of body wave. What this is telling us here, this was a 9.0 earthquake. To hell, and I'm going to repeat that, to hell with what USGS wants to call it. They downgraded this quake to a 7.5. A 7.5. The seismic waves are still rolling today. I saw 3.0s today. I saw 4.5s today. I've seen 5.5 earthquakes rock that area today. It's amazing what you can find when you look. The USGS would never tell the truth. They can't tell the truth because they don't know the truth. They would have the truth if they would sincerely look for it. But I believe that they can't tell the truth because they don't know the truth. Now, I want to get rid of, hold on a second. I'm going to take down my banner. I'm going to show you what happened with the USGS map here. Just a second. Let me push this back here. Let's roll over here to Norway. Okay? They have taken down the 7.7 earthquake. As you can see, aftershocks continue rolling in. Look at this one. This is a 7.0 aftershock. This happened at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time today. A 7.0 aftershock. You tell me what happened yesterday. Tell me what happened yesterday, guys. This was a much larger earthquake than they are telling us. Came out as a 7.7, downgraded to a 7.6, further downgraded to a 5 or 7.5. That's almost a half magnitude downgrade. But folks, all the evidence as I have just showed you shows you that it was a 9.0 earthquake. And this 7.0 today, this afternoon, tells you another story. That this indeed was a stronger earthquake. This earthquake right here happened within the past 20 minutes, 25 minutes. This is a 5.4 earthquake offshore from Mindanao, Philippines. Okay? Just 25 minutes ago. A 5.4. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. I want to make sure the truth gets out. I want to make sure the truth gets out. Now, on top of this, I've got further information for you. Okay? Yesterday, I showed you the NOAA Tsunami Warning Center note that came out. They had this pegged at as 7.6. Okay? They said based on all available data at the time, the tsunami threat from the earthquake had passed. Okay? That's what they said. There was no longer a tsunami threat from this earthquake. It's very interesting to note that I found more information that came out yesterday for this earthquake. Okay? This tsunami warning came from the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. 10:37 p.m. December 2nd. This is what they said. They issued a tsunami warning. They pegged it as a 6.9 at the time. Even they didn't know what they had. Let me show you this. Evaluation based on local tsunami and scenario databases. It is expected to experience wave heights of more than 1 meter above normal tide level, and it may be higher on enclosed bays and straits. Destructive tsunami is expected with threatening wave heights over 1 meter high, meaning over 3 foot high, 3 to 3.5 foot high. Okay? Recommended action, just as we have recommended action through NOAA, the Tsunami Warning Center. Here it says the people in the coastal areas of the following provinces are strongly advised to immediately evacuate to higher ground or move inland. Surigao del Sur, Davao Oriental, Davao Oriental, that's further south. The Philippines knew that this was more of a dangerous seismic wave. The USGS ignored it. Owners of boats in harbors, estuaries, or shallow coastal water of the above-mentioned provinces should secure their boats and move away from the waterfront. Boats already at sea during this period should stay offshore in deeper waters until further advised. Okay? Now, if you remember, we showed you the Tsunami Warning Center advisory. We showed you the wave height, up to 9-foot wave differences. 9-foot wave differences, and that was out to sea. Those warnings were out to sea. Okay? Folks, I don't like being wrong. In this case, I admit to what I didn't know. I admit to what I did not know. Number one, we were not being told the truth. We have not been told the truth about what actually happened. Okay? Let me show you something else. I continue to do research. I pore over all available information. I want to show you what I found out this afternoon. Wait till this loads. This is the NOAA National Data Buoy Center. When it loads, you're going to see buoys still in event mode. Buoys still in event mode. Hold on a second, I think I'm going to have to reload this. This happened yesterday too. I had to reload it yesterday before it would take. I guess it's not going to load like I thought it would. But be advised, there's still buoys in event mode. That's the problem here. Here we go. Okay, I guess it's still going to load here. Look at this, guys. 24 hours later. 24 hours later, we still have a buoy in event mode now. Okay? That tells me there's a problem. Now, as we have reported on previous episodes of this show, there are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. Each one of those tectonic plates is moving. One is subducting under the other. That is why we have buoys in event mode. That is why we keep getting earthquakes. I've now counted over 300 earthquakes since this whole thing started. Over 300 aftershocks and counting. Okay? Now, Hurricane Heather has also got a report, and this is also valid. I'm trying to get pictures of Merapi erupting. Let me do this here. Let me take one more chance here. Hold on a second. I want to show you this. This is important. Indonesian volcano Mount Merapi is erupting. And yes, there were people on the side of Mount Merapi when it erupted. Okay? That's bad. That's really bad. Now, we have seen Mount Merapi erupt before. A cataclysmic eruption. Lava fountaining, ash erupting. In this case, this erupted up to 50,000 foot today. Erupted up to 50,000 feet today. In 2010, Mount Merapi erupted. 350,000 people were evacuated. 353 people died. They were killed during the eruptions as a result of pyroclastic flows going down the mountain. Now we're having another eruption at Merapi. A 50,000 foot eruption up into the stratosphere. That's huge. That is in and of itself huge. Okay? We don't know how many people were killed during this eruption here. There are people, or were people, on the mountain when it erupted. The problem is this thing is spewing lava out of it. An avalanche of lava pouring out of it. This could be really bad. This could be very, very bad. As we get more information about what happened today, I will make sure I pass it on. But this is not good. We have seen volcanoes erupt. We've seen entire towns, villages that were evacuated with volcanoes erupting in Indonesia. We've seen it too many times. Folks, this is just one more time. Unfortunately, this is just one more time. I can't even find current pictures of this erupting. I have pictures from way back in 2010. I'm going to try one more here. 2021, I've got pictures of the mountain erupting in 2021. In 2022, in March 2022, it happened on March 10th. Mount Merapi has been erupting for a very long time. It erupted multiple times in multiple waves in 2022, forcing 250 residents to flee. Okay? That was just last year. December 3rd, 2023. Folks, I'm going to check one more thing here. But all I want to do is put everybody on notice. It's not just Mount Merapi erupting. It's just not major earthquakes erupting in the Philippines. It's the overall idea that nobody is being told about it. We live in an age where information can be had at the drop of a pen, literally. Literally. We can find out information about almost everything at any hour of any day. Heather says, Demon Cat says Heather has posted on Weather Chat. Well, let me go over there to Weather Chat. Okay, just give me a second, guys. Okay, I've got it. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate you. Count on Heather to bring up the good stuff here. The ash cloud from the volcano went 3 kilometers into the sky. That's huge. That's huge. Just a second, I'm trying to transfer this thing. Just a second, I'll bring it up here. A lot of stuff is going on. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one even talking about it anymore. And that's all fine and dandy. I don't mind being the only one talking about it. But things are happening literally around the world. And very few people even know it. That's what blows my mind. This is Mount Merapi just a few hours ago. A cataclysmic eruption. 50,000 foot into the air. Lava fountaining and lava going down the flanks of the volcano, the sides of the volcano. When I talk about flanks, I'm talking about the sides of the volcano. Okay? It's incredible. Large earthquakes are hitting all over the planet. Okay? Literally all around the planet. Folks, I have to say this, and I know I've said this before, and I'll probably say it a dozen times again. As we go through our lives, we need to be aware of everything around us, because nothing will be as it appears to be. It's going to blow our minds. And look, okay, I just showed you a 7.0 earthquake that happened here just earlier today. They've already taken it down. They've already taken it down. Over 300 aftershocks from this one earthquake. This is only going to grow as the days continue. And at some point, USGS is not going to show it any longer. Notice the earthquakes that they are showing here in Indonesia today. Not much. There's over 2 dozen earthquakes, over 2 dozen earthquakes here in Indonesia. They're showing 4. Okay? One over here in Papua New Guinea. This is a 4.5, 111 miles deep. This one here, this is Mozuli, Indonesia. 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. We've never seen 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep before like we have now. Okay? Over here in Java, Indonesia, or I should say not Java, but east of Java here. This is a 4.4 here, 66 miles deep. This is a 4.5, 118 miles deep. Northern Indonesia here in the Molucca Sea, another 4.4, 50 miles deep here. Off the coast of Japan, this is a 5.0 in the Izu Islands. The Izu Islands here. Again, guess what? 5.2 miles deep. 5.2. Guys, yesterday was the first time that I saw any earthquake listed at 5.2 miles deep. Now we have another one. A large earthquake in the Izu Islands, 5.2 miles deep. My gosh, guys, USGS has lost their nerve. Maybe they've grown their nerve. This is a 4.3 in Myanmar. It used to be called Burma, for those of you that are older. Myanmar, this is 36 miles deep. Over here in Tajikistan, Pakistan, 4.6 here in Pakistan, 6.2, 10 kilometers deep. Tajikistan, 4.1 here. This, folks, is 70 miles deep. 2 different earthquakes. One 70 miles deep. One 70 miles deep. The other 6.2 miles deep. This one that's 70 miles deep, folks, the seismic energy is coming out of the Himalaya mountains. This is the edge of the plate. The edge of the plate. That's why that earthquake happened. Okay? It's incredible what we find out. Now, I'm going to jump over here to Turkey. Okay? Right here. The border area between Turkey and Syria. This is also where a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake happened earlier this year. Also, the edge of the plate. They're not showing any earthquakes at all. There are earthquakes here. There are about 6 or 8 earthquakes here today. They're not showing one of them. There's earthquakes here in Turkey. Earthquakes over here along the western shore of Turkey. These are what they call the Dokanese Islands. They belong to Greece. Earthquakes here. They're not showing them. Okay? They're showing one earthquake in Greece. One lousy earthquake in Greece. And I shouldn't call it lousy. This is a 4.3, 44 miles deep. Folks, there's more like 20 earthquakes here in Greece. They show one. That's disappointing. Italy. There's 6 or 8 earthquakes here in Italy. They're showing none. And yet, down here, we have Mount Etna erupting, and I believe Stromboli is also erupting down here, because they usually run in pairs down here. Italy having Stromboli and Etna erupting. They always do it together. Both volcanoes. Mount Etna is putting on quite a show. But USGS shows no earthquakes involved with it. When we have a major earthquake, folks, I'm sorry, not a major earthquake, when we have a major eruption from a volcano, that usually points to a 5.0 earthquake. They're not showing anything here. And they did not show anything here when it first erupted. There's energy that is put out when these volcanoes erupt, and they choose not to show it. Earthquakes over here in the Alps, the Italian Alps, the German and Swiss Alps, and even the French Alps. They're not showing anything. Earthquakes over here in France, not showing one. They're not showing any earthquakes at all in Spain. Earthquakes over here in Gibraltar. East of the Strait of Gibraltar, there are earthquakes here. They're not showing them. Earthquakes over here in the Azores, they're not showing them. I find it hard to believe. The only earthquake that they're showing here is further offshore. This also is in the Azores. It's a 4.3 earthquake, 6.2 miles deep. Okay? Now, I got a notification from one of you late last night. And I appreciate that more than you know. Let me find it here. Okay? What this came from was a report from the RVU English Network coming out of Iceland. They gave us a report. I'm going to play this report for you. USBS not showing anything here. Nothing. There are earthquakes here in Iceland. That was someone speaking Icelandic. Just a minute, they're going to go to English here.
Good morning, morning to Iceland, good morning to Grindavik. Doesn't it look beautiful, guys? Check it out here. It's morning in Iceland. There you can see the town of Grindavik and the port of the town of Grindavik. There you can see the Svartsengi area. There's also the Svartsengi power plant at the Blue Lagoon. And there you see steam coming out. Over there, that's not an eruption. So everything looks nice, everything looks peaceful today. There's not too many earthquakes. There is an earthquake north of Grindavik. That's the area where they think an eruption is most likely right now. And let's have a look at what is happening. It looks peaceful, it looks nice, it looks quiet, but there is stuff moving. There's rocks rolling, there's fissures opening, there's a travel warning. So a lot of stuff that we want to talk about in today's video. So stay tuned, let's jump right in, guys. The town of Grindavik is part of the Reykjanes Peninsula that you can see here on the map. What has happened and is happening with the town of Grindavik and the adjacent area is not an isolated event. It is part of a greater event that can last a very long time. As now it is considered that the Reykjanes Peninsula has awoken once again and a new era has begun. Paul Einarsson, a geophysicist, says that the volcanism we are currently experiencing is perhaps closer to being typical for Iceland.
Ef við lítum tilbaka á eldfjallasögu Íslands þá kemur í ljós að miðbyggið á síðustu öld, þessi 20. öldinni, var óvenju rólegt. Og það akkúrat á þeim tíma þegar íslenskt þjóðfélag verður til í nútíma mynd. Við erum kannski núna fyrst að sjá hvað eðlilega Ísland að þessi verulega eldvirkni.
So guys, I don't know what you think. He says it as it is. You don't even have to read between the lines much. What he's basically saying that what is happening now, this could be the new normal. This could be the real Iceland, and it could get more. Nobody knows. I mean, it seems to be slowing down a little bit, but is it really? There are quite concerning news that came out today about a new 25-meter deep sinkhole, and the fissures have widened. So everything's still active, and I don't think it is safe in Grindavik at all. Although they're trying right now to repair the infrastructure. There have been news today that they will have to shut down the power for a while to repair the infrastructure, that people need to use generators. But because they're also doing work at Svartsengi, so that affects other areas as well. But really, you have to listen very carefully what this expert professor is saying. It did awake, and this could be, and the Reykjanes Peninsula, that could affect Reykjavik as well. We're not just talking about Grindavik, and I will show you some maps where you can see where all the fissures are. There's not just one, there's more. And basically right now, it's like an end of day scenario as it sounds to me, because there have been like travel bans and there have been areas declared unstable in the Reykjanes Peninsula because of rocks the size of mobile homes falling off mountaintops and, ruptures, fissures opening. So this is far from over, guys, and we will look at pictures and I'll report more about that. There's a case of a restaurant in downtown Grindavik, and that is a weird story that has developed further today. That restaurant is called Saltuzio, Salt House, and it's in Grindavik, and the owner says that he is afraid that everything in his restaurant is useless. The restaurant is in bad shape. There's a crack underneath the building and a hole has formed right next to it recently. So have a look. Here's the picture outside. You see the crack and you see the hole. And that's not everything. There's a deep hole that is more than 25 meters deep that has formed in a residential street in Grindavik, and it is indicating that the soil there is significantly moving. And the restaurant that we just talked about, the Saltuzio, has also experienced further damage in recent days, adding to the extensive damages it had already sustained. So Aman Höskuldsson, he's a research professor in volcanology at the University of Iceland, was investigating and measuring the depth of the new hole today. And the soil in Grindavik continues to move. And yesterday this hole has formed and it was discovered. And in the restaurant, the floors and walls are severely skewed. And the owner is very uncertain about the future of the restaurant. So everything seems to be unusable. And representatives from the Natural Disaster Insurance were in Grindavik today assessing the damage. And the restaurant Saltuzio is one of the buildings that have been particularly badly affected by the recent disasters. It has suffered significant damages, sinking a lot, and it's skewed and crooked. The owner, Polakur Gudmundsson, was barely able to enter the building for safety reasons until today. And he says, I just think everything is unusable. Maybe not the items inside, but the building itself. And because he has been restricted from retrieving food and other items from the building, a lot of food inside has spoiled as well. And he says, I have only been allowed to go in briefly just to get the essentials. Food, it's all ruined. At least the refrigerators and freezers, since the freezers and the storage were already off by Monday right after. I wasn't able to take anything. I was allowed to go in for a few minutes and then again on Saturday for a quarter or 20 minutes. You can't do much in that time, he says. And he says it's...
Okay, that I heard the whole report. I will try to find it, and I'll play the whole report for you possibly tomorrow. But what you need to know, USGS only wants us to know what they want us to know and nothing else. We're getting updated reports coming in from Grindavik, from scientists that I've spoken to. This report that one of you sent me that I watched and listened to last night. It's incredible. Okay? Totally incredible. Hazel Vance is asking, Ron, could you put it in miles for us? Old folks who were in school back when was in miles, yards, feet, and inches. Thank you. I try to put it in miles and feet.
And then again on Saturday for...
Okay, I try to put it in miles and feet. 6.2 miles deep equals 10 kilometers deep. We have people from various places around the world that watch this program. That's why I put it in both kilometers and miles and feet and centimeters we've had. Okay? We're trying to do it both ways here. Frosty Winnipeg says Gordon Ramsay screaming, shut it down. Yeah, I can imagine Gordon Ramsay saying to shut it down. All I'm saying, guys, I wanted to show you this, not just to show you that the agency isn't telling us the truth. Well, look here. Oh, look here. Romania. They just put this up. It's a new earthquake here. It's a new earthquake here in Romania. Brand new. It just happened. Just as we were showing you this map. This is a 4.6 moderate earthquake over here in Romania. 86.8, 87 miles deep. 87 miles deep. Okay? Now that's fairly shallow for most thinkers. Okay? Some of us would say, wow, that's deep. Folks, we see earthquakes here all the time that are 357 miles deep, 597 kilometers deep, That's pretty much the equivalent miles to kilometers. It's huge. It's huge. But that earthquake just came up and USGS put it up. Go figure. It took 24 hours the other day for them to put up an earthquake that they said was in the Bay of Bengal. Let me show you this. I want to show this to you. Okay, guys, this is the Bay of Bengal. This was a 5.8 earthquake. It came out in the Bay of Bengal. 24 hours later, USBS had it up here in Bangladesh. I understand sometimes when the agencies screw up occasionally. But we keep seeing this on a regular basis. Esther's saying cleaning out the DUMBs. No, this has nothing to do with DUMBs. Deep underground military bases, DUMBs. This has nothing to do with DUMBs. If it had to do something with DUMBs, we'd be seeing dozens and dozens of earthquakes happening nearly the same time all over a specific area. That's not happening here. We have not seen any deep underground military bases being destroyed in a very long time. Okay? It's not happening. Now, Heather just mentioned something else that I want to talk about here. I'm going to get to in just a second. One more thing on the USGS map. Down here in the South Sandwich Islands, in the southern part of the Atlantic Ocean, down here at the Antarctic Ridge, we have a 5.1 earthquake that happened today. We had another 5.1 earthquake here yesterday. This 5.0, 5.1 seismic energy will now be traveling up the South Atlantic Fault Zone, the South Mid-Atlantic. It'll be traveling up here into the Central Mid-Atlantic, and then further making its way up here into the North Mid-Atlantic within the next 24 to 36 hours. That's typically what happens. Okay? We have minor earthquake activity over here in the, let me back this out here. Well, I'll be dipped. They took it down. There were 4 earthquakes over here in Puerto Rico, and they just made them go away. Well, I'm done with it anyway. Does anybody have any questions? Heather just brought out that the pole has flipped. The pole shift has not happened yet. The pole shift has not happened. By pole shift, okay, the North Pole has been moving for quite some time. Okay? Let's see if I even have a compass here. No, I moved my compass to one of my go bags. Anyway, the pole is shifting. Our magnetic north is now more like this. Okay? It shifted about 18, 19 degrees. Some people are saying it's shifting to 40. It has not shifted to 40 degrees yet. The tectonic plates are moving, number one. So we're going to have somewhat of a pole shift. Movement of the Earth's magnetic plates. Okay? With that said, they're still moving. No one was around the last time there was a complete pole shift, meaning the North Pole becoming the South Pole and the South Pole becoming the North Pole. Nobody was around thousands of years ago. Folks, it's moving. It could finish moving in 6 months, a year, 2 or 3 years, or maybe 50 years. We don't know. But what we're seeing here, what we are all seeing here in real time, are earthquakes. And we're seeing major earthquakes. We have had another CME that launched, I believe, from the sun yesterday. That means 4 CMEs have launched from the sun since last weekend. Dangerous CMEs. I don't have all the information about this latest CME that launched, but I'm telling you guys, this is probably a G-class flare. A G-class flare. It could be an M, but I believe it's a G-class flare. If it's any worse than that, I will let you know tomorrow. But another solar flare unleashing from the sun could be bad. This latest solar flare that hit the Earth on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, actually Thursday and Friday, Thursday and Friday, was bad. It was what they call a halo CME. A halo CME, meaning when it erupted, it went way out in the space like this. A halo CME. The bad thing was it was traveling over 1 million miles per hour. Some of the plasma radiation reached the Earth within 4 hours. The rest of the CME hit on Friday. It was big. Heather says it was a G2 solar flare. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate that. Folks, it played havoc with everyone. I reported on this the other day. We're still watching the sun now. We're going to keep an eye on it. My friend Mark Wages, I'm going to hopefully get him in here this week so he can speak to you about what's going on in the sun. Mark Wages is a very much an expert. He'll say no, he's a citizen scientist like me. But Mark Wages is an expert when it comes to the sun. Everybody considers me to be an expert when it comes to earthquakes, and I probably am. But folks, this is affecting everybody. Everybody that's living here on the earth. It's affecting animals. It's affecting earthquakes. I believe this 9.0 earthquake that hit the Philippines yesterday was probably due to that R9.8 earthquake. I mean, not earthquake, R9.8 solar flare. R9.8 solar flare. Okay? That CME radiation is terrible. It heats up the plates. It heats up the core of the earth. When it heats up the plates, I'm going to show you this example again. All the gunk and grime that hold the plates together either under the ocean or anywhere else. All that gunk and grime there is heated up by the plasma radiation and also from planetary alignments. When it's planetary alignments, it happens to be electromagnetic radiation. Either way, we have radiation heating up the plates. When it heats up the plates, all that gunk and grime, all that biological material heats up. It becomes like oil and grease at those juncture of the plates, making it easier for those plates to move. That's why we had that 9.0 earthquake in the Philippines yesterday. USGS can say whatever they want, and they usually will. But they're not telling the truth. By their own data, it shows that this was much more of an earthquake than what they said it was. That's why we came on the air today. Does anybody have any questions for me? Penny says hubby had horrible headache the last 3 or 4 days. Yeah, these solar CMEs happen, and they affect everybody. They can affect animals, they affect humans. The way we live, the way we move, the way we go through life. It can alter our balance, it can alter the way we're thinking, it can alter the way we feel. I had a guy today that said that he went home from church because he had vertigo. Yes, CMEs can cause vertigo. It happens. And yes, Penny, we're praying for your husband as well. We're praying for all those people that need our help, that need the Lord's help. Okay? We're praying for several people here that are members of our EMA family. Number 1, Rob 52. Rob 52 has been having shoulder pain from an accident that he had had. He's gone to the doctors. They're talking about surgery possibly. We're talking about Don Patoko and his wife. His wife had a stroke. She's come home from the hospital now, but she's not doing well. Don's doing his best to try to help her, and also he's been on this program here. We appreciate him. Heather's gone through her own things. We appreciate her being here as well. One of my friends who has been our IT geek, Aveyah here, she goes by Times and Signs sometimes. She's been my IT geek, putting out great videos for us and helping us with other graphic images. Her husband and her son have had really bad health issues, even strokes. So we want to remember them in our prayers as well. And their caregivers, their parents, their wives, their children, everybody. Keep them in your prayers. Keep me in your prayers as well. I'm supposed to be getting another shot. I don't really have the money to pay for it right now, so I'm going to just have to go through it until I get the money to pay for it. But we all have our troubles. Keep everybody in prayer. Okay? Just keep everybody in prayer. And Light and Truth Seeker says it's having a severe effect on her as well. That makes a lot of sense. It's everybody it's having an effect on. God bless all of you. We appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to let you go. I don't mean to drag this on any longer than we already have. This is Sunday. I don't usually come on here except to do Sunday school classes, and we came on here before we did this program. Folks, this is Sunday. May we worship God. May we do what the Lord has asked us to do. Get ready. Bigger things are happening. things are about to get really bad, and we will discuss this week. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, whatever's left of it. Enjoy your families, enjoy your spouses, enjoy your children. God be with you. Always. I ask the Lord to bless you, and I do that humbly. Humbly, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Have a good time, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good night, everybody.